Is it recording?
Yeah, of course.
Oh, I didn't
Did you see the countdown?
No,
you don't see the countdown?
No, I used to.
Wait, you used to?
Yeah, it said 3, 2, 1, and I'm like, I don't.
And that was now it did, or the first time?
The first time we did this, yeah.
So now there was no countdown?
Interesting.
Hold on, let me get the producer on. Hey, Woodrow, Woodman, can you make sure the guests do see the countdown?
I know you were on break. Chicago Fire thing.
Yeah, it's like I know, or it's actually more like this. Hold on, one of these. One in. Yeah, I know you're on break, but I do need you to make sure the guests see the countdown. Thank you. I know. Ryan, hold on. Ryan Kaufman, associate producer. I know this is the moment. You usually take a few minutes. You drink some honey to make sure your voice is good for the.
Finish up the cigarette. We got work to do, baby.
I need you to make sure the guests see the countdown. Do you know what numbers are?
Right.
Oh my God.
Well, you know what? I can't think of a better perfect way to intro the video with open comedy like this because we didn't have a countdown. So here we are. Welcome to it.
Well, is this all in? Is this making it in?
This is all in. Let's keep it.
Okay.
This is organic.
Okay. The podcast is you get to see behind the curtain. You get to see everything.
Absolutely. Yes. I was unprepared. I didn't have an intro and I looked like a fool for a second. But
wait, you have an intro?
Well, normally I would see the 3, 2, 1 on your screen.
But but like you don't have like a jingle or something?
No, we'll have one for this episode for sure.
Oh, okay. Did you sing it already?
We'll all do the magic. It's Bobby's podcast.
Let me get the harmony part in there. So go ahead.
Bobby's podcast. You're the Bee Gees.
Yeah, whatever the opposite of perfect pitch is, that's me.
I will say, though, thank you to JP, my special guests on today's show. Shout out to the Comics.fm podcast right there, which I was the first guest on. I'm so honored that you even chose me because you said I was third in line.
Yeah, you were third in line. And
is that because I'm not a legal citizen? Or
well, we got your paperwork. It's all verified. We checked that. Oddly enough, the guy that you jumped the line of, he has a podcast called First in Line. No joke.
Whoa!
So Jacob Beals, if you're watching, you have a show called First in Line. This guy, I'm going to keep it clean, hurdled over you, much like jumping over a wall, and was able to get on the show first. So,
well, Jacob, I apologize. Thank you for putting me first. I had so much fun. We got a lot of good feedback on that first episode about kind of the hot ones take with doing comics and kind of getting into it. So
I'll tell you, that's the bar.
Congrats.
The only thing that unfortunately your episode is going to lack. It's the first one. It's the first one I've done, and I didn't have this microphone because before we recorded, I had a different mic, and it wouldn't connect. Yeah. iPhone's finicky. The various recording apps are finicky, and I had to take your advice and get this new setup in here. So that means you will also not only be the first guest, you will be the first repeat guest when we do another book down the road.
Hashtag twinning because we got the same microphone.
That's true.
And I have to say thanks to Dan Hardy, who was also one of my podcast guests, for giving me the information for this Rode mic, which I then passed on to you. So looks like
problem. And thank you, Dan.
I think the Avengers are assembling.
Here's the fun thing, though. So if this is all connected to Dan and his microphone choices, you're wearing the mic condom, and I'm raw. So
you're raw.
I just think that. Dan, I haven't met you in person yet, but I know you very well now.
He did not have a mic condom on his either, so yeah.
Oh, wow. It collects everything. Side note, first day on the air at KKFM. This is a true story. My lips
JP
touched
Black on KKFM.
Yep, thank you. My lips touched the microphone on the first day on the air. And I took a step back, and I'm a little germphobe even before COVID, and I looked in the microphone.
Well, you got to be in that studio.
Oh, my God. Well, I looked in the microphone. I saw orange bits. So... Cheetos, Doritos, cheese balls, cheese. I mean, orange bits in the microphone.
Did you get vaccinated? Are you good on all your shots?
I got all that, but I mean, then it becomes, who's going to kiss me next? Heather?
Shout out to your wife.
Yeah. So thank you, Bobby, for having me join your Bobby's podcast.
Yes,
Popcast,
and I want
not the podcast, Popcast.
Popcast. Your Midwestern is coming out. And I love it because you remind me of every family member I have.
Guys, what are you bringing to the potluck?
Oh my God, are you going to bring that ambrosia salad? Oh my God, the grapes.
That's very Wisconsin.
I really love it.
Your Midwest is Wisconsin,
and I do lean. Yes, I do lean
because it's more that like No, can you put that in the French room? The French room? What's the French room?
Yeah, do you know where my Western accent came from? This is a fun fact. When I was doing my show with Woody Power, shout out to him. I went to vacation in Chicago and we drove across the border to Wisconsin because it's really close by.
Yeah.
And we went to a place called Apple Holler, which is this really cool apple grove. It was just the most magical place I'd ever been. The number one, that you can pick apples from all different kinds of varieties. They've got a restaurant there. They've got like fun pumpkin patch for the kids. Anyway, we spent all day there. We had so much fun. My brother-in-law got a bushel of Macoun apples. And when I was speaking to everybody there, they were like, oh my God, you have to try the galas. They're so good. You want to go over 2 rows over there. So it was kind of like that. And I created this character on the radio and I actually called Apple Holler. And I was like, hi, hon. I just want to let you know that I actually do not live in state, but I used to live there and I'm a huge fan of your Macoun apples. Is there any way that you ship those?
That's
and
great.
the woman was like, no, I'm so sorry. I was like, well, it was worth a try, hon. Thank you
you
so
know how
much.
it is. I love that character. Let me give you a couple of things to add into the mix there. And, you got the voice down perfect. Just some like concept to throw in. The big one in the Midwest is saying ope. O-P-E. Okay. So ope is when you are walking around a corner and someone else is walking nearby, like, oh. There's a lot of opes. There's opes everywhere. In stores.
Also the sign of a heart attack. Oh.
Yeah, well, sure. Yeah, ope, yeah. But like you're in a store and we got carts. We're like, oh, go ahead. You go. No, you go. No, you go.
Okay.
You go.
Okay.
Oh. So a lot of opes in there.
Okay.
The other big one is when you're giving someone directions, even though we all have phones, we don't really need directions.
Yeah.
If you hit the Kmart, you went too far. They always tell
They give you a landmark?
where you went, but no, more importantly, where you went too far. Like
Right, you passed it.
Just tell me on the corner of whatever. Like if you hit that, there's a famous footwear, you went too far. Like,
if you see Applebee's, you want to go back about 2 streets, hon.
If you drove into the Gulf of America, you went too far.
The Gulf of America.
You've gone too far.
Times are changing.
That's what she would say. I'm just saying. That's what
there
she
you
would
go.
say. What's the character's name, by the way?
I called her June for some reason. I don't know why. She just seemed like a June to me.
Yeah,
I don't know. Just like an old school sort of Midwestern mom character that makes these phenomenal apple pies.
On names, how come like there's certain names that only go with old people and only go with young people?
Like Esther.
Why is there no 80-year-old grandmas named Tiffany?
Or Brecken.
Yeah, but you might get like, and there's no 9-year-old named Ethel. I don't think there's any Ethels at 9. But there's
funny, and what's funny about that is when I used to do characters for like a millennial mom, I'd always do Brayden, Caden, Jaden, stop fighting. I would always just do the rhyme.
Taylor, Kaler, Naylor, Failer.
Right. One of the names is McNavy. I'm like, what is going on?
McNavy?
McNavy, yeah.
Like McLovin?
Very popular in the gymnast world, from what I understand. McNavies.
MC Navy. Mm-hmm. Yeah. That sounds like McDonald's Armed Forces. I love that.
The McNavy.
Like Captain Ronald.
There you go. We digress as we get into this fun episode of Bobby's Popcast. Already, I'm just having the time of my life because you're just one of, like I said, the last few episodes we've done together, you're still one of the funniest people I rely on for comedic chops. You give me good pointers and tips, and so I'm just honored that you are gracing this podcast because of course you're a very busy man.
Thank you, Bobby. You've come a long way in just 30 days, roughly, maybe even less.
Yeah, 3 weeks.
Daily shows, nonstop content, engagement from new fans, old fans, friends, family, everybody. So kudos to you for just going all in and kicking butt on everything.
Well, you were a big part of that success because you helped me kind of get all my stuff on all the platforms. So thank you for that. But this episode, we're actually going to be talking about radio personalities who have TV backgrounds because my friend JP here does have a background. He's been on TV. He's been a few times, actually. Yeah. I myself have been on TV, and we're going to go into some of our deep dive stories, but I thought we could kick it off with one of your first experiences. And can I lead you in with JP, come on down? I know that's the wrong show, but it's kind of the game show announcer. You get what I'm picking up.
So this is more about you
showcase of JP.
Yeah. So you're showcasing your joke more so than accuracy.
There you go. Okay. You're picking up what I'm putting down.
I do. You know what, Bobby?
The price is wrong, snitch.
The price is, I get snitch. Yeah, keep it clean.
Yeah.
Want to go back further? Let's go back to the 80s for my first ever TV appearance. In fact, there's 2 appearances.
Am I hearing about this for the first time?
You are. I saved it for the show.
Oh, awesome.
So you grew up in the Chicagoland area, right?
I did. Yeah.
Do you remember the Bozo Show?
I wanted a year's supply of cookies so bad for throwing ping pongs into a bucket. So yes, I grew up on the Bozo Show.
Yeah, Archway cookies.
Are they? Is that what they are?
That's what the brand is. Yeah, Archway.
They always bring out a pallet of the cookies.
Oh, pallet, because they want you to be as fat as Cookie when it's all said and done. The actual guy Cookie. And so, let me just explain something on the Bozo Show. I'm a couple years older than you, so when I had an opportunity to be on,
so you're 32.
Are we gonna? You're auditioning for the younger things. I'm only
30. You're 32.
Hey, quick side note. I believe this year I become the same age as Fred Sanford from Sanford and Son. So
hey, it's happening.
He was 48, and Archie Bunker was like 48.
Okay.
Crazy. So I don't know if that's good or bad. But anyway.
Songs that made the hit parade.
Right.
All right. So we're talking.
Archie.
We're talking Bozo. 80s.
Sorry, 80s ADHD is actually our show right here.
Young Yanni.
A young Giannis Papadopoulos over here. So I have 2 older brothers and 1 older sister. And when and we're talking 10, 11, and 12 years older. I was a little after.
You were the accident.
Yeah, a little something.
Happy accident.
It happens, yeah. Happy accidents, right. No mistakes.
No mistakes.
There was a wait in the 80s. There was a wait list, a long wait list to get on the Bozo Show. And we're talking not a year. We're talking like 8 years, 9 years to get on. So if you applied to be on the Bozo Show in 1978 and you got a 11-year-old kid you want to take on the Bozo Show, 78, you didn't get on the Bozo Show offered until like 86.
Okay.
So
pushing teenager years.
Yeah, so now my older siblings, they don't want to go on the Bozo Show. They're teenagers. Right. They're just like, I'm not doing this crap.
Right.
Well, who gets the benefit? Little Johnny. Little Johnny gets to go on the Bozo Show.
You came in later in life.
It's later in life. So now I'm the right age. So we get the tickets. And it was awesome because now we were inviting, cousins and whoever else wanted to go because we had a bunch of tickets, but we waited and waited. And my parents waited and waited. Finally got them. Finally came.
That's so cool.
Crazy. I'm on 2 different episodes I actually was on. And
2?
because they put in for more than 1 and you go twice and there's no cost. You just have to wait forever.
Okay.
First one on. And I have no footage before anyone asks. It would be great one day to have them.
That's exactly what I was going to ask. I wanted to splice it in here.
This is crazy. We're talking probably 1987. And picture it, 1987. I'm stealing your future.
I would have been watching you. I was a little 6-year-old boy then.
Oh, well, you probably were watching me, yeah.
I've been like, look at that little kid, Mom.
Yeah. What year were you born? What year were you born?
1980. So
okay, so yeah, so
6 or 7.
Yeah. So you're watching me. So when I'm next to Wizzo and he says, "Behold the stone of Zanzibar." By the way, stone of Zanzibar is a KKFM keychain.
98.1 KKFM. Yep.
And he goes, "Do." And then Wizzo would cast the spell. He'd be like, "I pray to the wizard gods that Bozo falls flat on his face." Why would you? He's your boss. Why would you want him to fail? If he dies, you go too. So it's kind of weird.
So I have to ask, did you win any cool prizes?
Yeah, so I was on twice, and so I'm on the first time. I didn't know it was going to be twice, so I'm going to make the most of it. Yeah. They said, "Hey kid, you want to introduce a cartoon?" I'm like, "Yeah." They pulled me out of line, and I got to get prepped up and all that. Then of course I go back to my seat, and I'm telling everyone, my family, like, "Hey, I'm going to introduce a cartoon," because keep in mind that being on the Bozo Show, it's because my parents had to wait so long for tickets. So when they asked for tickets, that was when my older siblings that are 10 and 11 years older than me, by the time they came in, they're not going to go to the show when they're 19 years old. They're not going to go to the Bozo Show.
They had to have you so they could beget Bozo.
Oh, that could have been part of the plan.
Maybe that was the plan. You were planned.
Yeah.
You weren't an accident.
A twinkle in Bozo's eye.
I think your parents went, do-do-do-do-do-do.
Stone of Zanzibar. And then Wizzo pops up like, "Hello." It's like, "Wizzo, why are you in the bedroom?"
"Congrats, it's a boy."
Right. So yeah, I get to go on the Bozo Show and I get to introduce a cartoon. And so
That's freaking cool.
They hand me the microphone. They're like, "Okay, it's coming up, and there's the cue cards there. And then of
Did
course,
you have the long skinny microphone?
It was
or like
not a full Bob Barker. It was like a mid-sized microphone.
Okay, gotcha.
But like they don't know, and it's live. The Bozo Show is live, and this is an area where it's on WGN. It's not New York. It's not LA. It's the Bozo Show in Chicago. So it's not the #1 production, but
still a heritage legacy brand.
Oh, totally. I just meant from there's probably a split second where I'm just like at the camera like. And they're like,
deer frozen in headlights.
Yeah, and they're like, hey. Idiot, you're on. I'm like, and now here's Bugs Bunny.
It was like me with the countdown at the beginning of our podcast. I'm like,
you're like, are we on? Are we on?
Are we on? Is this thing on?
And you're like, producer Ryan, can you make sure the guests know that we're on?
So what was your line? How did you intro Bugs Bunny?
So it literally was, and now here's Bugs Bunny. That was it. Because
and you
that
did
show,
a little kid voice because that was your voice?
Well, I wasn't doing a voice as a kid. I was the little kid.
So that was the first appearance. You got to do intro Bugs Bunny. What was the second appearance like?
So then we get another envelope with more tickets. And it's like,
nice.
Hey, they're like, little Johnny.
It's like the lottery for you guys over there.
Oh, amazing. They're like, little Johnny, we get to go to the Bozo Show again. I was like, hell yeah, we get. I didn't say hell
I have to ask, were your parents excited to go do this with you?
Yes. So my dad actually, my dad was also our Cub Scout leader. And so if we had enough, he would have probably brought like me and my whatever pack or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
It was probably enough. I think I know I went with me, my younger cousin, who was maybe like 4 years younger than me, and then my mom and dad, maybe one. So yeah, they were super excited. And it was kind of funny too, because it was also like the moment of, hey, sorry to my older, like, sorry kids, they're like, we don't want to go anyway. It was a perfect out because normally it'd be, you can't go to the show that you were supposed to get tickets for, you're supposed to go to. Because when they asked for tickets, I was like 1 year old. So you ask for tickets, I'm a baby. They're not going to bring a baby. They're going to bring the 10 and 11-year-olds. And then cut to 9 years later and the tickets come and I'm not a baby and I'm 9 years old and my older brother's like, I'm not going to go to the Bozo Show.
It's like Menudo. You age out.
Right. It's age out. We're all part of Menudo. You know, we can't all be Ricky Martin. Some of us have to be the weird monkey looking guy. You know,
there you
matter.
go. That's right. Dancing in the background.
That's right. He was in Silver Spoons. He's a star, you know.
Oh, anyway, that's right.
Menudo episode was phenomenal, by the way. So then we get the tickets again to go to the Bozo Show a second time. So we pack up the car, go from Glendale Heights, Illinois to downtown Chicago to WGN Studios to see Bozo, played by Joey DeOria, Cookie and Wizzo, and then they were all there. And it was a moment of going back to a familiar place. Once again, it's a TV studio, so things are smaller in person as always. Yeah. There's the Bozo Pewter, like, Bozo Pewter, give me a random contestant, you know, and it's like, beep,
right.
Boop, 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 boop. Yeah. It was just great. So then I get pulled out of line again, and I'm thinking, here's my big break. And like, God, I hope I get it. This is like my big break in the industry. I'm like, I'm going to get on the grand prize game because I'm watching the kids in all the episodes and they always bail at number 3 or 4. They can never make it
what it
past
takes.
4.
You
they don't have what
knew
it
you
takes.
were a winner.
I knew. Listen, quick side note. I met Michael Jordan maybe like a year before this moment. So I'm pretty good at basketball at that point. I'm thinking I could shoot those. I actually met Michael Jordan. Another story for another podcast. I will share my
JP walking on air.
That's right. I will share my Michael Jordan story at another time. But I wanted to get on the grand prize game. I was not chosen for that. I was chosen for another game, however. And it was like a side game. You know, they had the grand prize game, then they had just some other game. And it was me, another girl, we're both like 9 years old, and it was a 2-game thing where they tallied up the scores after both games. Game 1, there were these bins, like these big wooden square bins, throwing laundry. So shoes, pants, shirts, all that, and they were just throwing them. I thought my basketball prowess would come into play. Maybe we had a young/old Caitlin Clark on our hands, but she beat me in the laundry toss. What
was the game called? Focus on the family, how to be a dad, a mom.
I think it was called, Mom's Job. I don't know.
Preparing for motherhood.
Preparing for motherhood, and clearly as the dad, I don't need to know laundry. Throw it on the floor.
That's right.
I was destined to lose that one.
It's almost like it was rigged for you to lose.
Yeah. But the second game, I would say, was rigged for me to win because you have a boy versus a girl. We've got I don't have Bobby's guns, but built-in testosterone. Okay. And it was pumping like a tire, what do you call it? Like an
inflatable.
No, inflatable, yeah. So, but it was a balloon, giant balloon filled with whipped cream.
Awesome.
And so the moment, of course, when you blow it up and explodes, white cream all over your face.
I mean, and the jokes are endless there.
I don't know what you're talking about. What do you mean?
Bozo made a mess.
What's you mean because of pie? Because of like eating pie? What do you mean?
Oh, nothing. I'm trying to keep this monetizable. So
okay, so am I.
Safe.
Clowns throw pies. So whatever you're thinking of is not that. Although Bozo's like, Bozo's like, did I get you in the eye? I'm like, yeah, Boz, you did. Boz. I call him Boz.
Hey Joe, aka Boz.
By the way,
the eyes next time.
I'm standing next to Bozo.
Do I get the part?
I did my part, Boz. Give me the part. I did my part. Give me the lead role.
That's right.
I'm standing next to Bozo. Just side note, like commercial or whatever, and I look up because I'm a little kid, so I'm looking up, and he's
tall?
got very tall. He's got orange hair, but a wig. Sorry, spoiler. And because it's like a Saturn ring of hair, and then underneath that I see a little like brown, like dark brown hair. I'm thinking like, what the hell? Like,
the wig cap didn't cover everything.
Yeah, he's just such a faker. Like even as a kid, I knew it was a wig, but he's faking. Like
I have to ask, did you know if Bozo was a smoker? Because everybody back then did.
I didn't smell it on him, but what would be great is if I saw him pull out like clown cigarettes and it said like poof. It's like a water balloon that says smoke hits me in the face. It's like, hey, sorry for the smoke. I mean splash, kid.
Take 5, kids.
By the way, we've done 2 clown-related episodes if you count our Joker episodes.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
More clowns.
Maybe that's our common denominator.
I think so. We both want to be a clown. I've another show. I've got another clown story about an Italian clown that was very mean to me. I'll tell you that.
An Italian clown?
And an actual Italian. His name was Nino. He's like, oh, I'm sorry. He was like, oh. It was a whole thing.
I want you to smell my flower.
Yeah. First off, he threw popcorn in my drink to be funny. But anyway, I'll tell you. That's another story.
Okay.
I'm so mad. So I'm on Bozo's show, and I win the second game. And apparently I did it in enough time where I won the overall game. So now I won the game, and you asked me about prizes. Remember the game Mousetrap as a kid?
Yes, very iconic game.
Yeah, I didn't get Mousetrap. I got like a generic Temu dollar store version of Mousetrap. I don't know, rat catcher, whatever. Let's make that
rat
up.
trap.
I don't even know. Yeah, right. Like, hey,
trap.
Yeah, like, tell him what he won. Like, you win Rat Trap. Like, oh, great.
Rodent capture.
Right. We set it up at home. It broke instantly. All the little traps and things, like, it was just like, come on.
That is, that's surprising to hear because that show would have had money to be,
I know,
I don't know, a sponsor and have legit games. Like, you telling me they couldn't afford Mousetrap back then?
You saw what Wizzo was wearing. That guy has expensive taste. I mean, the Stone of Zanzibar alone is $20,000, I'm sure. Every duty he got paid for every duty mentioned he got a couple of he's like, I'm gonna charge you for those.
That's right.
He owned the duty phrase.
I love that.
I won that game. It was great. On the way out, we're leaving. This was really cool, very Willy Wonka-esque. You're gonna like this. On the way out, they had handfuls of Blammo bubblegum. That was the brand, Blammo.
I love that.
Blammo. Yeah, Blammo.
Okay.
And a bunch of other random candies, and then also
sounds like an offshoot of Bazooka Joe.
Yeah, maybe it was the same company, possibly. No Comic Inside, I'm guessing. Comic.fm, by the way.
That's right. There you go.
And they had Bun Candy Bar, which like these, they're still around, but they were just like a marshmallow caramel thing or whatever. But it was literally kids walking out, grab as many handfuls. So it was handful, walking out. And it was Willy Wonka to me.
Okay. Speaking of Willy Wonka, I actually just talked to my daughter about this yesterday. We were walking in the door, and for some reason, I just have this sort of brain where I just do movie lines that don't make sense.
Yeah.
I was unlocking the door. I was like, I feel sorry for Wonka. It's going to cost him a fortune in fudge. And my daughter was like, why are you saying that? I was like, I don't know. It just
that was Augustus's mom, right?
It was Augustus.
Augustus himself. Yeah.
Yeah. Augustus Gloop.
He was the first one to die. I don't know, right? Did they die?
I don't know. I know he went to like the stretching machine or whatever, so it's implied that they died.
See, I'd like to see like maybe a fan movie where they do autopsies on all of the kids afterwards and to see if he died of chocolate OD.
Now that's a great movie idea. I love that.
I think so.
Yes, I love a good old-fashioned.
Side note, I was on a Zoom call at work the other day, and someone's camera, they made him like green. And I go, Violet, you're turning violet. And no one got my joke. And there was like 50 people on the call. Someone goes, "Hey, I'm green." I go, "Green." I go, "Violet." You're turning violet. And
okay, not to do a weird tangent, but who's the most annoying kid from Wonka's bunch? Yeah, pick one.
Oh man, so I've got a soft spot for Veruca, and so I
do too.
That's the clear.
She knew what she wanted, and she was very clear about it.
Yeah, and that's
Knights.
So Veruca is like a nickname I have for my wife Heather. I call her Veruca, and then a band came out in the 90s called Veruca Salt, so it's kind of funny anyway, named after her. But like, I want the goose that lays golden eggs. It's like, I want a party. I want I love that. So that's not most annoying to me. I'm going to go out on a limb and actually most annoying, outside of Grandpa Joe and his insurance scam all in the same bed, whatever was going on there.
That's right. Muscle atrophy that didn't happen.
Yeah. For me, Mike TV is the most annoying. And
I am so glad you said that. He annoyed me too.
He got
what he deserved.
He did. He's such a dick to his mom at all times. And
call it, Mom.
Yeah, and then he gets ground
I serve
up.
all his dinners right here in front of the TV.
Well, here's the thing.
They were from Denver?
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
wow,
Mike TV was from Denver, Colorado, where I am.
I think he's still alive too. Maybe you can get him as a guest on the podcast.
I'd love to.
When they like ground him up to a million pieces, I wanted him to stay in a million pieces so bad.
You know, another funny line that I quote from Mike TV was when I used to have to test microphone equipment for radio broadcasts. I'd always say, "Am I coming in clear?" Because he said that one.
Because he says it like a New York guy from the 20s.
He's got like this weird,
It's like, "Am I coming in clear?" It's like in Ferris Bueller when his girlfriend says, "Can you hear me?" It's like, are you all of a sudden Canadian? Like, where'd that come from? Oh my God.
We could do a whole separate episode on Willy Wonka.
I love it. There's a Willy Wonka board game. If you ever get a chance to play it, it's great. It's, you basically, everybody gets given chocolate bars. That's the currency in the game. And
I love it.
Some of the bars have golden tickets in it in the game.
Oh, nice.
And you're moving around from different stores and buying
I got
chocolate.
A golden ticket.
Yeah. And Willy Wonka's chasing all the kids around the town, like trying to kill them, basically. It's pretty wild.
Which is what he tried to do in his factory.
He did, actually. It's like, Slugworth is my friend. He was trying to poison you, but he's my friend. I'm like, why is he your friend? He's also an asshole.
I have a theory that Willy Wonka, I know we're breaking off into a tangent, but I have a feeling that he was bipolar because he was so sweet to Charlie right at the end of that movie. But right before that part, he's like, "You get nothing. Good day, sir."
My theory on that one, I will say not bipolar, and here's why. That scene at the end with "You Get Nothing," that was after hours. Like it was done. He clocked out for the day, and you talk to. It's like talking to an employee at Target when they're on break. You don't do that. You know, you're on break. I'm not going to bother you while you're on break. He was off.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. That's my thought.
Yeah.
Then he came right back on.
Frustrated.
Yeah, he was on a smoke break. He doesn't want to be bothered. You know, it's like growing up as a kid. You'd go to can my son use the the bathroom at Jules? And like you go in the back, you're like, "Mom, Mom, this place is scary." And then you go up the stairs to go to the bathroom, and there's like three guys playing poker, smoking. You're like, "Hey, who
the hell are you, kid?"
It's like, "Hey, the new warehouse kid is here," and it's like, "Can I go pee-pee? Can I go pee-pee somewhere?" Like, "Yeah." It's like, "Down the hall, kid. You want me to deal you in?" Like, "No, I don't play poker." Like, okay. They're playing cards on break.
As we go back to our times on TV, it sounds like you had a phenomenal experience with Bozo.
Yeah,
My
Bozo
goodness.
show. Yeah, in
Iconic.
iconic Bozo show in 1987. I was not on TV till many years later. However, Bobby, you were on TV. I would say next in our timeline was your TV experience, right?
Yeah, you want to flash forward to about 2003. Picture it. Okay. I was in a boy band. I was the token Latino. And we had an agent. And what's really cool is living in Atlanta, that was kind of the scene where I had a lot of music experiences and my record deals came through there. But I had an agent to do commercial TV work and commercials and all that good stuff. Also, this agent booked us for TV shows that she thought we'd be good for. So that being said, one of her clients was Dakota Fanning. I don't know if you've heard of her.
I know her, yeah. I don't know her, but I know of her.
Well, her and I shared the same agent for about 3 years, which was pretty impressive for me to say on my resume that doesn't exist.
That's really cool.
But one of the bookings that we got through our talent agent, I'll shout her out. Her name is Joy Purpose. I still loved her. She was just an amazing agent. She got us booked on this show in Hollywood, California, on the Fox TV studios. called 30 Seconds to Fame, which is essentially, it was a very small window. I think that operated, I think it was like 8 months that it was on the air, but it was basically a variety show, like kind of like the Gong Show, where you had people from all different walks of life with all different talents come in, and you had 30 seconds to beat the buzzer and move on to the next round to show that you had the talent, right?
You had to do it in 30 seconds to get to the next round.
Correct. Wow. So now keep in mind, they put a boy band on there because this was, keep in mind, we had American Idol on TV. Yep. So singing competitions were about to be the big thing for the 2000s. Yep. So they had a mix of us, like music artists. They had puppets. What do you call it?
Ventriloquist?
Ventriloquists, yeah.
They have jugglers?
Everything. In fact, the girl that beat us in our round was a girl that did Irish dancing. So she had like the big curly hair and, did the cool Irish jig and all that stuff.
Do they have any clowns?
I'm sure they would have had some clowns. They had dogs that did tricks.
Yeah. Well, you were there.
Yes. I jumped through the hoop. And then
I'm sorry.
That was a perfect zinger. I love that.
Yeah. Thank you.
No, but for what was funny was we rehearsed for weeks for this TV show, and they fly us out to LA, and it's a really cool experience because when Fox in Hollywood, California is paying for the bill, you get the nicest of everything. So they put us up in a really nice hotel. We were at right next to the Beverly Center, which is where all the celebrities go shopping right there. So anytime you see somebody, like all the paparazzi photos, they're typically leaving the Beverly Center, which is like their Chapel Hills Mall or some mall close to you.
Somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah. So for me, it was just an experience. I was taking everything in. And when you said, what's interesting is when you said you went to Bozo, everything was much smaller in person.
Yeah.
Everything was larger than life when I went to the Fox studio because it's built on a warehouse. So they had a whole audience with lighting rigs and everything and a stage, and it just kind of felt overwhelming to me. Yeah. Like I was just in this giant, massive auditorium on steroids with lights and sound and smoke and all this stuff. So we had to rehearse several times, and I don't know why. And I should have been more vocal about my opinion. Somebody in my boy band thought it was a good idea for us to sing Respect by Aretha Franklin. And, I don't know if that's what you want to see from a boy band for 30 seconds. You probably want to see something familiar from a boy band, like, all I ever wanted or something like that. So they had me and this other guy who had
It's a rough choice. That's a hard choice to go with on that one.
Yeah, I will say so, but I went with it because majority rules in a boy band, and that's the
what else would rule? Test of strength? I mean,
I don't know. I just wish I would have been this person now because I've been like, you guys are all idiots for choosing that song, but I went with it. So we had 30 seconds, and we're like, R-E-S-P-E-C-T. We just kind of did this whole thing, and one guy did a cartwheel in my boy band because he was the dancer. The other one was dancing, and it just was this weird variety version of our boy band, which didn't really fit our model and our brand as boy band singers because we danced and we sang. We weren't the Flippers and the two diva
It was
boys
not a
singing.
Ringling Brothers. Actor.
Correct. We had to almost make it like vaudevillian kind of sideshow
would you
characters.
say this is kind of like America's Got Talent at this point?
I think it was the precursor to America's Got Talent.
Where it's basically singing isn't enough on its own. Is that
the thing about America's Got Talent is they do have singers on quite often, and they kind of get the proper format for that. So if we would have now keep in mind, every single contestant, and there was a lot on each episode, only got 30 seconds to show what they were going to do.
Good point.
So that was a lot. So that being said, that was my introduction to TV. It was so funny because as we're singing, we're doing the R-E-S-B-C-T. We're watching the buzzer go and go. Yeah. And at 28 seconds, they buzzed us and we got eliminated from the show.
So by 2 seconds, you would have made it. In 2 more seconds, you would have made it.
2 more seconds, we would advance to the next round. And who knows, would have won. I think the prize back then was $50,000 for each show. So, a good amount of money for a boy band to split.
Of course. And possibly you never know where it could have led.
I got embarrassing footage and also people making fun of me back home when they finally saw the show. I don't have a copy of it for reference, just so you know. And I did not get a game called...
Did you destroy every copy that existed in the world?
Yes. I went into the archives of the Fox studios and I destroyed our footage. No, I didn't get any footage, and I know it aired on TV, and I'm just grateful that I never had to see it because I would have been embarrassed. And I didn't get a cool game like Rat Trap like you.
Yeah, right. So. Well, you earned something better. You earned valuable, hard lessons in life.
It was really cool. I will say, it was cool to see how they run a TV show and what the juggernaut behind that is, and the agents like behind the scenes, like getting people on, and it just was a circus. It was like a vaudevillian circus on steroids for Fox, but to fly out to Hollywood and do all that stuff, it was really cool. I'm grateful for the experience.
That sounds awesome. I think even though not obviously, not making it through, but just the whole experience of all of it, because that's like a lottery ticket, right? What could have happened? And it's a chance for anything. And like you said, seeing all the stuff in action, it's like the complete opposite of radio. Radio, it's one person doing everything. In TV, there's 100 people doing 100 jobs. And it's just so cool to watch. And hard not to get caught up in it because you're watching it. You're like, this is like insane. Like, how does anything get done? And you don't want to get caught up in it by watching. So that's, I'm gonna try to find some footage of that. I'm gonna make a few phone calls.
Google 30 Seconds to Fame boy band. Maybe you'll find us. I don't know. My group name was Lennox, just for reference.
Yeah. You should. Do you think
your story's way cooler than mine?
Well, do you think if you went with a Lennox original, it would have been better?
We thought that, but keep in mind, you only got 30 seconds to impress somebody, so you're going to
want to be familiar
with a well-known song. And once again, I still don't know why they chose Aretha Franklin. I think they wanted to showcase the fact that we could sing up in that register, in that range. I'm like, that's great if you're on American Idol. I don't think for 30 seconds of a TV show, that's a good idea.
I think you guys wanted to be perceived as smart, that you can spell words.
I'm going to be honest. The rest of the guys wanted to be cooler than everybody else. And like, we're not like those other boy bands. We can do these songs and we can do flips. And I was just like, okay, shortly after the group disbanded. Coincidence? I think not.
Well, I would say, unfortunately, no respect given afterwards either.
No, we got a big see you later, folks.
Did you find out what respect means to you afterwards?
I did. And it's not singing an Aretha Franklin song in front of, a lot of people.
Oh my God. Well, I'm sorry that happened, but obviously the path led you to me though, Bobby.
It did. It did. It led me to bigger and better things, doing this podcast with you.
Let me give you another TV show moment. And you may not know about this one either. Another possible surprise for you. I was on a reality TV show called The Capones. Have you heard of this?
Was it like a mob wife scenario reality show?
Close. So there's a Chicago actor named Dominic Capone, and he claims to be a nephew or like great nephew of Al Capone. And the idea was, this is, by the way, Sopranos were like the biggest show. Everyone was doing mob everything. And this is probably like early 2010s, I think, would be the time on this one. And it was on the Reels channel, REELZ. It was a channel.
I remember that. Yeah, I think it's back in the day.
And I think you can actually watch it on like Tubi or Fubi or Tubu.
So I can go and find it because I have TV right now on my TV.
You take it's episode
what
5.
Episode are you on?
Episode 5 of The Capones called High Risk.
Okay, I'm gonna go do that right after this. And
you'll like it. I basically play myself. I play a radio DJ, and I'm interviewing the guy's great uncle who was an actual pop singer in the 60s, who was an actual guy, Louis Frado. And he was a singer in the 60s. He wanted to make a big comeback. So the manager was like, I got you on the radio. I'm going to start your big comeback. So I'm interviewing him and he's like, you better play my stuff or I'm going to whack you. That kind of like over the top. And in true reality show form, they tell you what to say and they tell you how to act. And it's kind of funny because a reality show, the difference between a reality show and a scripted show from a person who's been on it before is they shoot the footage and then they build the story later. So there's writers, but the writers build it afterwards. Whereas on a scripted show,
editing.
Yeah. So I mean, think about it like this: if you and I were filmed 24 hours a day for a week, somebody could edit the footage to make you look like the best guy in the world and me look like the worst guy in the world.
Yeah.
Or vice versa, because you catch somebody at a bad moment, you can make anyone a villain. So all the editing, all the story comes in afterwards. But it was a hilarious experience. We shot some behind the scenes stuff from the radio station I was working on, their YouTube page and all that. But yeah, they actually, fun fact, the Capones, they still own a restaurant in suburban Chicago as well. And you can still go there and they got pictures on the wall of their TV show and all that. It was like their little claim to fame.
I'm assuming it's Italian food?
It is. Yeah. Pizza, spaghetti, everything Italian. But yeah, so being on the Capones was pretty cool. And it was
keeping up with the Capones.
Yeah, it was fun because it was also allowed me to be me as well. And by the way, my current manager, Jack, who you know, he is referenced in the show because they asked the producer, someone goes, no, I talked to the station manager. He goes, I know Jack. He goes, you don't know Jack shit.
Oh good, my gosh, that is so
Jack's
cool.
Like, they mentioned me. I'm like, well, they mentioned Jack shit. They didn't mention you.
Do you know who I am, baby? Yeah. I was mentioned in episode 5 of the Capones.
That's right. One season of the Capones with Dominic Capone. Yeah, it was. So I got on the show because my friend Tony was a producer on it, and he's like, "Hey, weird question." He's like, "Could we use your radio studio?" I'm like, "Well, only if I'm in it." It was like, and then I got it cleared, and it's kind of cool. We gave the producers like bumpers, sweepers, you know what I mean, on the radio to play our branding on the airwaves, which is kind of cool.
Nice.
On a TV show.
That's so cool, though. Well, good exposure for the radio station.
Yeah. Quick side note. So there's one of the producers on the show, or actually the director, his name's Tom Stern. He was also in one of my favorite cult movies. If you ever have a chance to check it out, if you haven't seen it, it's called Windy City Heat. Have you ever heard of that, Bobby?
Never heard of it.
It's basically the whole movie is a prank played on one guy. There's a guy who thinks he's in a real movie and everybody else is in on the joke. So they're filming these scenes where they throw him in like a dumpster full of crap and they're like, hey man, this is you being a star. And he's like, all right. And so he was a character in there and I was asking him I was total fanboy. I'm like, I love this movie. And I was asking him all these questions. He loved all of it. So it was a very cool experience to be part of the Capones.
That's awesome. Can I ask you, because we're got to round up this episode of Bobby's Popcast. I wanted to ask you about your stint on a show called Chicago Fire.
Yes. So Chicago Fire, they were looking for extras. And I said, I fit the bill. I read the description and they said, we want bald white guys. And I'm like,
that was the description, literally bald white guy?
Yeah. They might have said Caucasian Americans, but I don't know.
Anglo-Saxon.
They might have said follically challenged Anglo-Saxon Caucasian Americans. I don't know.
Follically challenged. I love that.
Fun fact. I get there. There's 4 other skinheads that look just like me there. They give the 5 of us like caps, like, beanies.
Oh,
like,
nice.
You asked for bald guys. You asked for 5 bald guys. And the first thing we get, you hand us 5 caps to wear. Like,
maybe they wanted that because if people with hair, it will show through, and they just
I just thought it was a little. What's the word? Not just insulting, but it's like, it's like my bald white. It was like, hey, it's like, I'm a bald white guy. That's what you asked for. Now you want me to be somebody else.
That's
you want
right.
You want to be a hat guy, and I wasn't a hat guy, but
bald and proud.
Yeah. I get there to the show and it was going to be a crossover episode. So it was Chicago Fire, Chicago PD, and a new show they were going to start shooting called Chicago Med. And it was going to be the one to bring them all together.
Oh, and you're part of a pivotal episode.
I was, yeah. This was, by the way, I think it's season 4. The episode's called I Am the Apocalypse is the name of the episode. And
hold on, I gotta write this down.
Look it up. I am the apocalypse. Yeah.
Okay.
You got to be real. Like you got to make sure your glasses are on when you're looking for me because it's like way in there. And because when you're an extra, you're out of focus. You're not really in it. But I get there and it was 2 days of shooting. The coldest day, it was February, downtown Chicago, freezing, like -0. So they loved it because they wanted
wind chill is insane over there.
Oh, it's crazy. They wanted the breath in the air. So when you're talking and they see like your breath in the air, they wanted that.
It's dramatic.
It looks cool on camera, and it does, So I get there and all the different extras are all lined up in different areas. And I was supposed to be Homeland Security. So I'm like, that's kind of cool.
Oh, fancy title.
I got a badge. I got a rubber gun. It was like the big chunk of rubber, And
you got a rubber gun. That's
a
so
rubber
cool.
gun. Yeah.
I love that.
And I had to give it back. Unfortunately, I wanted to smuggle it out. I really wanted the badge is what I really wanted. But
yeah.
Then they said, you want an earpiece? I'm like, yeah, I want an earpiece. Why would I not want the ability to go like, which we'll get into.
It's very adventurous.
Yeah. Foreshadow. Yeah. So I took the earpiece. We're all sitting down and I see all the different, so there's all the Homeland Security were like guys kind of like me, not just bald, but just like, bigger kind of guys. Then they had FBI agents, which were just all walks of life. Because if you think about it, if you're FBI, you could be a younger female that's forensics. It's kind of all. So there's FBI were over there. Homeland Security was over there. Then there were these 4 dudes that came in. They were the SWAT team. I thought they were real. I got totally fooled because they were like these like 4 just muscle bound buff black dudes. They jump out there and they knew how like all like the like machine guns, like how it all. I thought they were real. They were actors too, and they completely had me fooled. The reason why I thought they were real, and a lot of people don't know this, all the police and fire you see on those shows are all real cops and firemen. All of them are real.
Really? So they have to use real personnel for those things?
It's not that they have to. And I learned this. They don't have to. They do it because they know how to act like cops and firemen. And so they already have the clothes. So you got the look. They know how to act.
Costumes
and talk.
built in.
Yeah, all built in. And the other thing is it allowed them to basically have a bit of realism. So all the other extras that don't know how to act like, our professions, you get to watch people that actually do it for a living. And I was talking to one of the cops. It was kind of cool. He said their captain encourages this. They said, go do all these shows on your off days, of course. And all the money they make from it is like their vacation fund. So
I love that.
I later learned those guys got paid double what all the regular extras got paid. Those unions got involved in there. And so,
well, to protect and serve, they are, helping the community. So
I got like I think it was like $120 a day. And
nice.
They got like, and 3 meals too, they were good. There was like a chef making food.
Was it
like
an all-day experience?
All day, 2 days, all day. And they got double there, but it was great talking to all those guys, seeing them all. We started shooting and they tell us what we're going to do. And then all of a sudden I start talking to this guy. He comes, sits next to me and he's like, you, Homeland Security? I'm like, yeah, me too. Like we're actually in it, it's like we're not.
We're discussing characters and roles.
So he comes up to me and he's like, hey, I'm Brian or whatever his name. I'm like, hey, how's it going? And he says, is this your first time doing extra? I said, yeah. I said, I work in radio and I wanted to see kind of how the other side was. TV. He's like, I love this. I do it all the time. I'm like, really? A lot? He's like, yeah, kind of a professional. I'm like, oh, I'm like, is this your job? He goes, well, I have a carpet cleaning business, but I also do this. Like, okay. And so
3 rooms, $100, and I also do extra work, baby.
It was like, you wouldn't believe it. It's like this morning I was cleaning up dog crap, and then I'm jumping out of a helicopter. But
what a life.
So he starts telling me all these shows he was on. He's like, this show multiple times. Was there a show called Empire? Was that on too?
Yeah,
he was on that. There's just a bunch of, telling me all these things.
He's got a nice laundry list of resume.
Yeah, for sure. And he said, my first ever gig, I was in a movie called Vice Versa. I go, Vice Versa with Fred Savage and Judge Reinhold? I love that movie. And he's like, yeah. He's like, that scene when they're in the mall and because Judge Reinhold is the kid and Fred Savage is the adult.
Right.
So Judge Reinhold basically like starts playing, drums in this music store. He's being, and the whole mall is like chaos because everyone's like, what's going on? And Fred Savage is on the escalator, like, what's my dad doing or what's my son doing is really more what it is. There's another kid on the escalator. This guy's like, that was me. I'm like, what was you? He's like, I was the other kid on the escalator.
I love the setup for the whole, that was me.
That was me. He's like, when Fred Savage is like, he's like angry. He's like, I'm going to yell at my son, who's actually my dad. I'm going to yell at him. So he's like, and all of a sudden there's another kid just like, I just ran like, and then he's like, that was me.
This is played to me.
I was kid on escalator.
Kid on escalator. I love that.
I bet it's an IMDb and everything.
I'm going to have to try and find that just for kicks and giggles.
Well, at this point, I'm like, this guy is going to take me places. I'm going to befriend this guy right now, and we are going to.
Where's his Oscar?
Oh my God, we're just chilling because it was super cold. So
I bet he's got a SAG card.
Oh, totally. I bet he does. It was super cold. So anytime we weren't filming, we were either in a vehicle or back in like this. It was like it took place where our holding area was in a, I guess like a union kind of center where they hang out and have like, union meetings or whatever, but big
next to the Cinnabon downtown.
Well, funny you mentioned that. So when they're bringing, the food between meals, they're making like fresh cookies. And then we're smelling them. We're like going in. There was one really good moment though. So there's the extras. There's the extra crew. There's like a huge, like I don't know, 100 people there because it was a crossover episode, a ton of people there. Yeah. And then there were the crew, and then there was the cast. They all had different like eating and hangout and snack areas.
Yeah.
And so one of the extras comes by.
Segregation exists in the acting world.
Totally. One of the other extras comes by and goes, she's talking to the guy I met who's a professional. So I don't know these terms. I don't know any industry lingo yet. I'm there. They go, hey, I went to the gray area and I got a Snickers. And I go, what's the gray area? And they're looking at me like, this kid, like he doesn't know what the gray area is.
You idiot.
Basically, there was like this area of snacks that were right next to the cast and crew that
Prime
were
snacks.
Somewhat near the extras, but you were not supposed to go there. It was like, that's over there. You get the bite size, the fun size. They get the full size, that kind of thing.
So what area were you in if they were gray?
Whatever's worse.
Okay.
I was in the darker. I was in the JP Black area there.
All right.
And like when they brought the cookies over, they were the same cookies that were in the good area that they were the leftover. Like we got the leftover cookies.
Oh, I got you. Okay.
So
Drippings for the poor.
Yeah. So then she goes,
She goes,
I ran over to the gray area and I got a Snickers. He's like, oh my God. We're like, yeah, like you want to make it? I'm like, yeah, if you guys think it's clear and we can do that, and we're just like, he's like, they're filming something. So I think it's okay. Like they were trying to basically like cross the line and get some good snacks. So that was cool. And then we're just there and we're waiting to go in. We're learning different things. And they say, we want you to go here. Listen to each associate director. They're going to tell you what to do. Yeah. I will say this. A couple of times some of the cast walked back. There was a blonde on the show. I think her name was Claire. I forgot her name. But anyway, real cute, super nice. She's talking to him. And she's just like, they were all cool. Like, everybody on the cast and crew were smiling and talking. So they didn't have to do it. You know what I mean?
Sure.
They could walk by all the extras. Like we're like by the bathrooms. They're walking by like, I don't want to look at these
gray
people.
area trash.
It's like, Bobby, it's like you on the radio with all the meet and greet people. Like, please. Like, Woody, can you, I told them I'm not shaking hands. This is you. I told them I'm not shaking hands. No, I'm kidding.
30 minutes only is my window.
There's too many huggers. I don't like touching. Anyway. Everyone that worked there was really cool. But then they said, we're going to go outside now. So everyone gets suited up. So I had a fake bulletproof vest on. I put the badge over here. Yeah. I had the earpiece in.
Rubber gun.
I had the rubber gun all in there too because I had like a holster and everything. It was like a pistol. 9mm.
Okay.
Like
did you get to hold it? Like, was that part of it? Okay.
Yeah.
Like, could you hold it in your scenes?
I would say no because it was made to look normal in a holster. Like just
I got you.
So if you held it would look fake. But although we were out of, but also we were
so always on the finger gun.
I could. The funny thing is, I could have pulled it out because we were so far in the background, like it wouldn't have even mattered. But
yeah.
So they told us, listen to the director.
Acting like you're going to shoot somebody from a different scene. The director's like, cut! Somebody's breaking character in the background.
It's like, we've got a rogue extra.
That's right. What is he doing?
It's like, this is my moment. Hey, you know what? Murray, you get what you deserve, Murray. It's like. So we start going outside and it is freezing, like negative, temperatures. And we're like, everyone's like, we just want to get out there. There were heaters and all that. This was your same moment of being backstage and all that stuff. Yeah. I saw hundreds of people working there. There were people running around, clipboards. I could not believe how many people worked on the set of Chicago Fire. I mean, there was actually you always talk about like continuity producer. Somebody that says, hey, the glass had this much water in it in this last scene. It's got to have the same amount next scene. That was somebody's job. There was a person that was continuity producer.
That's crazy.
It's crazy how many people were out there. And so they tell me and this other guy, we kind of were like a duo. We were like our own little our buddy cop, like
you
the other
Brian?
guys. Yeah, Brian. I think it was Brian.
Okay.
And from now on, it's Brian. From now
on. Well, I'll IMDb him after this, and we'll find out his real name.
Look up kid on escalator and vice versa.
Right.
And so he says to me, he's like, hey, man, when we go out there, what's your move going to be? And I'm like, move? I said,
I'm going to pull out my gun and start shooting.
Yeah. I go, I'm going to shoot you and take all the glory.
That's right.
No, I go, the director told us we're supposed to stand in this spot, pretend like we're talking, walk over to that spot where that cop is, and then talk to him. I go, that's what we're doing, right? He goes, yeah, that's what you have to do. But you get an opportunity to kind of do what you want. I'm like, what do you... And I'm thinking, like, no, you don't. Like,
he calls them artistic liberties in the business.
It's like, no, you don't, though. You can't do that. He goes, you can do what you want. So, side note, there were two other extras that were, I watched them, and one of them were like arguing of who got to be on the camera side. Like the camera's here, and the two of them are walking. So they were like, well, I'll be on it this time and I'll be on it. You know, you'll get the next one or whatever. Like, it doesn't matter. You're both out of focus. You're blurry. You are blurry people in the background. It does not matter.
But they're fighting for who's less blurry.
Who's top blur? You want to be number one blur?
Exactly.
So anyway, the guy says to me, what's your move going to be? I said, I was going to do what the guy said. He's like, no. Like, and I said, what's your move? Like, kind of like smart ass. And then I'm going to take my earphones off here. He goes, I go like this. He puts his finger on his ear, touching the earpiece. He looks left. He looks right. And he like nods. And then he starts walking. I'm like, oh, that's good. And then he goes, don't steal mine. I'm like, no, I would never steal yours. And so then I'm thinking, okay, what's mine going to be? And I didn't tell him. I didn't have one. I didn't have a move, you know. I had to think of something.
So what did you end up coming up with? What was your move?
So I decided what I was going to do. I was going to do kind of a two-thing approach. So when I was going to just walk normal. So the basically stand in the one part, fake talk, and then walk. And then the second meeting spot where we talked to the cops, I was going to mouth the words, we got him. That was going to be like, we got him. Again, no, you can't see anything.
Right.
So I go, and then I was going to do like, you know, when like, I call it the white guy overbite, when there's like a song and white guys like, they're like, they do that. I was going to do like, I was going to do this. I was going to go, I go, they go, we got him. We got him.
Another one in the books, boys.
I know. It's like, I can just see it now, like, and now the Emmy goes to,
right?
It's like, Jonathan Pilatus for Homeland Security number 6 for the overbite scene. Like,
that's right.
You know, it was just so. The really funny thing is this moment, and you can see this in the actual episode. There's an outdoor moment where it's almost like a up top kind of view. There's like, it's actually like the game Mousetrap. There's 10 things going on at once. Fire engine pulls in, ambulance pulls out, cop car pulls in, somebody opens the door. This was like insane. I'm just going to kind of like explain. It's like, it's almost like you're like moving pieces on like a chessboard, because everything has to happen at the exact right time, or else the director's going to yell cut and you got to reset.
Everybody's got to reset.
Problem. When you reset, fire engine pulls in, cop car pulls out. You think it's easy to get the fire engine out of there again? It ain't.
No.
It took a half an hour to reset every scene.
Sheesh.
So if there was a mistake, people were pissed. They were like flipping out. And there was a moment, thankfully I didn't cause it, even, you know, somebody was walking and they walked a little too close to, or no, they walked a little too late or early, like either later or whatever. And they weren't walking on cue. Somebody opened the car door and they're like, cut. I'm like, oh, because he basically walked into a car door. I had to reset everything. But
oh no,
that was wild. I will say, every time they yelled cut, we went into like cop cars or fire engines and everybody's freezing. This is a moment where we're all the same. I don't care if you're a actor or extra. Now we're talking to each other because we're all trying not to die in the cold. So I love being on Chicago Fire. And I know we're going to wrap it up, Bobby. There was another TV show I was on. So another time I will discuss.
Yes, and we'll just go ahead. We'll prelude to that Wheel of JP, because we will follow up about that one, because that one's just too epic. We've got video footage of that bad boy. You did spectacular, and you got some coin, didn't you?
I won a trip and some cash, but we will talk about that on a future episode of Bobby's Popcast.
Well, thank you so much. This has been so much fun. You are still by far my favorite guest. Shout out to Dan Harding.
Oh, thank you.
My other favorite guest. I can't discriminate. But
of course.
Where can the kids find you on all your Popcast socials? Because you got a lot of things going on.
I do. Yeah. I'll just keep it to 2 right now. My personal account's JP4 Media and comics.fm, wherever you watch. Radio people talking comics. Look it up. You can buy yourself a shirt and support the show as well.
That's right. Even a mug. I even saw the nice mug that you've got.
I got a mug, I got a shirt, and I got a sticker. That's the trifecta right there.
I will put the links.
You should. Bobby Irwin, our friend, bought all 3 from me the other day.
Did he really?
He did,
well, that makes me want to create merch.
I know. I'll help you do it.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll put all the links in my socials as well. And thank you for being on an episode of Bobby's Podcast as Radio TV go back to their TV roots. And I have to say, out of all the stories thrown out today, you are definitely the TV star out of this podcast.
Oh,
so.
Thank you. Listen, if I only get my RESPECT, I'm just waiting for that moment.
Thank you for watching Bobby's Podcast. Follow on all major socials at Bobby's Podcast. JP, any words of wisdom as we go out?
Don't pick up any wooden nickels. I don't know what that means, but I've heard that.
And that's how the cookie crumbles.